Hi, everyone. I am Krishna Powell, and I am the CEO of HR for Your Small Biz. It gives me great pleasure today to introduce you to Dr. Lauren Josephs. She is one of my all-time favorite people. You will see why in a minute. We are having I'm going to do a three-part series, and this three-part series has been created just for you. What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, that looks like I will be bringing subject matter experts onto the scene, into your living room, your office, wherever you have access to social media, YouTube. You will be able to listen in on such a wonderful conversation. In particular, it's needed now. Things have been looking kind of rough with our economy. Companies are laying off left and right. Finances are an issue, both personally and professionally. So, what better way than to kick it off with an awesome woman, as I told you, Dr. Josephs. She
Hey.
has won over $20 million in government contracts. She doesn't want me to talk about it, but I told her today I am the Pied Piper. I am tooting the horn for her because I know the difference she has made for me. She actually has put together a wonderful, wonderful program teaching small business owners how to win government contracts. And I'm proud to say, I think 6 to 8 weeks after completing her cohort, I won my first government contract. So
Yay.
I am proof that her system, her teaching works. So thank you, Dr. Joseph, so very much for joining us. Tell us
It's
a little bit about the Visionary Vanguard Group and what it is that you do.
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. You know, I am happy to support anything that you do. I think you are such an amazing professional and add so much value to small businesses, and get us correct in the HR space. So I'm happy to be here. So I am Dr. Lauren Josephs. I'm the CEO of Visionary Vanguard Group. It's a consulting firm that, I began in 2008, and we're focused on addressing social problems, particularly disparities in outcomes. And we do that through research, evaluation, training, and technical assistance. Much of my expertise and work has been focused on working to create evidence-based strategies for improving the outcomes in under-resourced communities. So that really is where my heart is, and that's just a little bit about me.
Excellent. So tell us about your teaching that you're doing on government contracts.
You know, I stepped into this space because of the work that I do in disparities. Disparities are differences in outcomes, and I specialize in disparities based on race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and so on. And I became aware of a data point which really alarmed me, and it's been a few years now. But basically, it said that Black women-owned businesses were earning $24,000 per year, as opposed to over $200,000 on average by majority individuals. And that really struck me because it strikes at the heart of what I do. I work primarily in health outcomes, mental and behavioral health and physical health outcomes, addressing disparities in those spaces. But I know that one of the drivers for these poor outcomes is socioeconomic status. So when I learned of the challenges in terms of generating revenue within small Black women-owned businesses, I thought that if nothing else, I could lend my time and talent to share what I have learned through pursuing contracts in the government space, but also from nonprofit organizations, large corporations, and sharing those with other small businesses.
Excellent. So when you talk about the government contracting space, What can they expect? I know you put together your cohorts. So share with us a little bit what they can expect. Because I found, I'll be honest, your cohorts and what you teach is so different. And so I want the viewers to understand that it's not just you giving out information. Like, you take the time to make sure, like, we have homework. I want y'all to know we have homework. We are actually working. You find a government contract, be it current or expired, and you're working on it during the course of the cohort. And
Yeah.
not only that, but she reads it and edits it and gives you thoughts and opinions. And it's not just you taking the class one and done and like, good luck, let's see what happens. And so,
Yeah.
share with us more about what they can expect out of the cohorts that you do.
Yeah. I take a lot of time to pour into those who participate in the cohort, and that's because I really, really want to see everyone get a contract, anyone who's actively pursuing. And so the way that I have created the cohort, it's really to give individuals who participate an understanding of everything that it means to be a government contractor. And we talk a lot about government, but we when I'm talking about contracts, I'm talking about federal government, local government, state government. We also have conversations about how to pursue private contracts as well. But I think a big part of the challenge for many people is that there's a language in the government contracting space that is not understood by many. And so a big part of it is first to demystify the process by teaching the language. Because once we understand the framework within which this funding sits, and once we understand how the jargon, and once we understand the process, then it's as simple, I venture to say, as applying that knowledge. And so the way that I've structured the cohort is an applied process, because what I know as a researcher and someone who has worked in evidence-based trainings for, over 2 decades, is that the training is not what leads to the outcome, right? That's the smallest part, going to a training. It's what happens after. It's what happens during. It's having opportunities to apply that knowledge. And so throughout the process, I'm always, and I know it's adult learners and people have to buy in. Thankfully, most have over the past four cohorts. But it's to encourage people to start the process of identifying those funding opportunities that are in their core areas of competence and start applying the knowledge, because that reinforces the lessons that are taught.
Excellent. And I know you have one in my cohort, and I think in all the cohorts. I think it's important for people to understand you had people in all different industries and businesses. I myself, I am in the HR sector.
Yeah.
And you were able to show me how to win a government contract from the HR sector. Can you share with us different sectors where you have had clients or members of the cohort win government contracts?
Yeah, absolutely. In the field of mental and behavioral health, in product development of signage and construction allied fields, in financial literacy, individuals have gained contracts in professional development and training. There have been a whole host, and I should know this off the top of my head, but to be honest, I'm so entrenched in the work, and so my focus is on helping people to win, not necessarily broadcasting the winnings, which is a terrible business model if you are trying to market on social media. However, there have been many individuals who have won contracts. In the most recent cohort 4 is still underway. We just did week 6 last week. Someone has won a contract in the real estate space. So what I'm teaching is a process, and the process can be applied regardless of your field of expertise.
I think that's one of the most important things. And I think that also, I love the community that you have created. Like, you just didn't have our cohort, and at the end of X weeks, we were done. We
Yeah.
have stayed together. You have kept us together with your Saturday, I call them conversations. So, talk to me about the extended learning that takes
Yeah.
place, and how you stay not only engaged with us, but you ensure and you keep us motivated to put in that
Yeah.
work to win those contracts and not to give up, because sometimes it's a numbers game. A lot of people
Yeah.
think just apply to one and it's one and done. And it doesn't work that way.
I created something that I would have wanted when I first started in the space. I mean, although the first federal contract I applied for, I won, it was still a very lonely journey, and there were people who I felt were gatekeepers, and not particularly helpful as I sought to learn about how to maneuver in this space. So what I wanted to do was to be able to create a space where individuals who were walking this path could bounce ideas off of each other, could collaborate to pursue larger funding opportunities. And I wanted to eliminate the any barriers to participation beyond the cohort. And so that's why I've offered the continued technical assistance at no cost. It's not a membership program. What we have created, in essence, is a family of businesses that are moving together through this space. And I am most proud of that. I'm most proud of the fact that these individuals are have recognized that there's no shortage of resources. I know we talk about the economy that we're in, but there are lots of dollars that are out there for small businesses to compete for, and we don't. I mean, to the tune of $460 billion in the last fiscal year that we didn't access, that was small business eligible contract dollars. So I've created this space, and I love I benefit from the community too, because I am a small business owner. And so there's 10 weeks during the cohort, and I promised at the beginning 6 months of ongoing support, but cohort one ended in March of 2023.
Yep.
We are now in October of 2024, and every 2 weeks there are individuals from cohort one, cohort two, cohort three who join me to talk about strategies for improving their business and strengthening their capacity to win government and corporate contracts.
And I love how you, like you said, it's a sisterhood, it's a family. And you're right. We are now, I know my cohort has joined with the other cohorts, as you said, and going after those bigger contracts. Like, we are now able to compete because we're able to say we have a team. And it's just wonderful being around women who want to see each other win. Um,
Absolutely.
and literally, you have people all over the US. It's not like it's locked into one state versus the other. It's truly all over the United States. So I really want to emphasize that to folks, is that it doesn't matter where you are. Um, it's a virtual program, so you are able to join, and you record the session. So if you miss one, you're able to still go back and watch it. But there's
Yeah.
nothing like the availability. You have made it so easy for us. And I think it's important now more than ever, especially because of the economy. And, a lot of businesses didn't bounce back from the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we are going from the pandemic to, yeah, we may be 2 years or so out, but we're in a recession. Let's be honest. Even the big boys right now are doing massive layoffs. Um, And so the work that you were doing is really helping to save not only businesses, but you are changing the direction of families, and helping to make sure that, you know what, your family is going to be okay. You are going to be able to provide for your family and your kids and make sure they go to college and leave this legacy. So the work that you do, I can't help but say thank you, because again, I know the difference it is making for me in my life. um, but what else have you experienced, or what else are you seeing? And in particular, let me just take it back one of the things that I love that you have done with us is that not only have you taught us about government contracts, but now we all, different members of the cohort, when they're available, we're going to conferences together, y'all. Just to let y'all know, we go to procurement conferences, and we're not just walking around wandering. We have Janae Adams. She's one of my favorite people. She's done workshops on how to navigate these conferences. But not only that, Dr. Joseph, you are literally there holding our hand along the way, reinforcing teaching that you already gave to us, and making sure that we're applying it when we're at those procurement conferences, because you're making sure we get FaceTime with these
Yeah.
government agencies and vendors.
If nothing else, I am a scholar. And so I always am seeking to learn. And so, I've been in business for 16 years, but I still feel in many areas that I'm a novice. There's so many more things that I have yet to do, yet to learn. And so, I always immerse myself in spaces where I have an opportunity to do that. We cannot thrive as small business owners in isolation. We cannot thrive if we are in a corner. And so it's really imperative that we are surrounding ourselves with it's by people who are pursuing similar dreams as we are, people who are uplifting and entering spaces so that we can continue to improve the foundation on which to build. Government contracts are not going to land in our laps in isolation. It's as much about relationship building as it's about writing a strong proposal. Because as I always say to the individual in the incubator, contacts equals contracts. We have to be trusted agents, right? For individuals to decide that they want us to evaluate multi-million dollar contracts or to lead program management efforts in their organization or to provide HR support or professional development. We are we have to be recognized as for our expertise, and we can't do that by sitting in our respective corners and twiddling our thumbs.
You're so right. And you also have taught us that it's not only for those of us who, you teach us how to also be subcontractors and
Yeah.
how to support others that have won government contracts. Can you talk about how lucrative doing that can be? Because a lot of times people think, oh, I need to be the agency, I need to be the head honcho that
Let
wins
me
the
tell you
contract.
something. The vast majority of revenue that has been brought into my small business has been through not only prime but subcontracts, because of the nature of the work. Sometimes the nature of your work makes you better suited to subcontract on opportunities. So one of the major focuses of my business is program evaluation. So you need to evaluate as a third party and in a unbiased way other initiatives. So my organization has been fortunate to evaluate projects that have been funded by the Centers for Disease Control and HRSA, and have worked with the VA, and so different, and SAMHSA, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, to evaluate projects that are funded by them. So it's depending on the nature of your work, you might be well suited to subcontract, or to work collaboratively with another entity. because when you do that, you are able to pursue larger funding opportunities and tap into other streams of revenue, rather than just trying to identify opportunities as a prime contractor.
Excellent. And then you also showed us that I know for myself, I've, like Dr. Joseph said, being in a human resources sector arena, I do go after a lot of the subcontract positions because not only do people need human resources, but they need training and development. The contract that I had won was with a government agency doing their sexual harassment. And anti-harassment diversity type of training, and so that was a wonderful opportunity there. But there I have clients in all different industries. I have grocery store clients, I have an accounting firm, I have daycare providers, and literally I can't think of any field that I have or clients that I have that they couldn't win or potentially win a government contract.
Yeah. Let me tell you, and I give this example in the cohort. I've seen an RFP for 12 rhesus monkeys, right? A federal contract seeking 12 monkeys. So the government is the federal government specifically is the number one purchaser of goods and services on the planet. They buy everything from toilet paper to mental health interventions to HR services and training to pens, right? To bleach, to janitorial supplies, to transportation and logistics. You know, they're to educational services. What if you look at the range of federal agencies, you'll get an insight into the types of things that they might fund. And so the government doesn't have the bandwidth to do all of the things. They don't have the expertise to do all of the things. So they contract businesses, some large, some small, to be able to support them in doing their work.
Excellent. Well, tell us more about how people can join. First of all, when is your next cohort? And how can others, how can this new group, or if someone says, yes, I need to be in there, how can they be
Yeah.
a part of it?
So the fifth cohort is actually going to be the last one that I do for the foreseeable future. What I aim to do is to continue to delve more deeply in supporting the individuals who are alumni of the program, as well as to pursue more heavily contract opportunities within my organization. So cohort 5, which is the last cohort that I have planned, it will begin in January of 2025. So if you're interested in getting on the wait list for that, you can visit bbgroup.net/GCI waitlist and then sign up for the wait list. You can also reach me on Instagram at Dr. Loren Josephs or on LinkedIn, same name. So if you are interested, just reach out. The cohorts are very small. I purposefully keep them small. I started out with around 14 or 15 individuals in the first cohort. And in recent cohorts, I've kept them at 10 or 12, just so that, because I know the amount of support that I want to provide. I know that I've offered to review and provide feedback in a very fast fashion of individuals' proposals and so on. And so if you're interested, just reach out. I know that the spots have all sold out in previous cohorts. I anticipate that it will in cohort 5. I'm thinking I'm going to drop it from 12 to 10. And yeah, so just let me know, send me an email, or you can reach out to me directly at my website, bbgroup.net, the contact button there, or just sign up for the wait list.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Joseph, I just want to say thank you for being my first guest. It is truly a pleasure. I want to thank you for making a difference in our community, literally throughout the US, and I dare say the world, because I know you are now doing work in Africa as well and showing them and teaching them some things. So thank you for ensuring that small businesses not only survive in this trying economy, but actually thrive during the recession. So thank you very much for your time. For those of you who are interested in learning more, please go to hrforyoursmallbiz.com. Again, this will be a 3-part series. If you've enjoyed it, share with me your thoughts, your opinions, and suggestions. Also, share with me other topics that you would like to see me cover. I have the privilege of knowing experts literally around the world. And so I'm so glad and honored that Dr. Joseph has joined me for my very first kickoff of this series. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time.